I moved is the one that is in my country. It was here in the US, so I had to move it. The one almost in South Africa.
Texas isn't on the map of your mind.
Oh, the one that I moved to Moscow wasn't there. I was somewhere in India. Sorry, Indians. Okay, so let's get started. So for the beginning, I just want to make sure we understand what cybersecurity is and privacy. So in cybersecurity, what we actually are concerned with is to ensure that IT infrastructure, data, networks, they are always available. We can trust the data or the results they give us, and that we keep the data that is inside them that is secret, that is only accessible to the people that need or have the authorization to see it, and keep it confidential from the people that don't need to see it. So cybersecurity boils into those three pillars: availability, integrity, and confidentiality. So if, for example, we encounter a cyber incident where, like DDoS, a distributed denial service, where an adversary flags the network such that the people who are trying to access the network can't access it, then the adversary succeeds in denying, that is making the system unavailable. Integrity is where the adversary is able to get into the network and maybe change some information. Confidentiality, where they are able to access the information that they are not supposed to access. Privacy, on the other hand, it only focuses on the same things, but only where personally identifiable information is concerned. So we could have a cybersecurity incident which is not a privacy incident. For example, if an adversary breaks into the IT infrastructure of a company and they mess with data, say for example, intellectual property data, which does not have any personal identifiable information in it, that is PII, then that is a cybersecurity incident, but not a privacy incident. So the difference between cybersecurity and privacy is privacy is only concerned with personal data. Cybersecurity is any incident that occurs around the IT infrastructure.
Okay, I have a question. So we recently had an incident in Lebanon where people's cell phones exploded in their pockets. Was that cybersecurity or privacy?
Yeah, you're getting ahead of it. It's in the slides.
Oh.
Yeah, it's in the slides. So
go ahead. I read your mind.
We'll get to it. So, so why should cybersecurity and privacy matter to someone who is not in cybersecurity like me? Well, the truth is, it is a constant threat. So don't say that maybe nobody is interested in the data in my phone or whatever. People are interested in adversaries and are interested in your device, getting access to your device for many reasons. For example, someone could hack into your device so that they can use it to launch attacks against someone else. I'm going to talk about that, but what I mean is, if I want to launch like a denial of service attack against a target, I'm not going to attack the target myself. I will hack your computer, then use your computer to attack them, because when they trace where the attack is coming from, it's going to be coming from you and not me. So possible deniability. Anyway, it will be hard to trace it back to me, because what I did is, the computer that is actually attacking you is not the one that is actually attacking you. It's being controlled by another computer. That is when the other presenter talked about botnets. That's how it works. You have lots of devices belonging to people who have no idea that their devices are being used as bots to attack a given target. So, for example, my laptop is sitting here, is connected to the internet. Someone could be using now to attack another target, and I wouldn't know. So while an average person who is not in cybersecurity may wonder, why should I even worry about cybersecurity and privacy? Well, you should. Other,
If you turn the computer off, does that prevent people from using it against your will?
yeah, okay, mostly that's what we believe. But then that issue of pagers and walkie-talkies, that's
No, but seriously, if you turn your computer off, could someone still use it as a stepping stone to attack someone else?
no, normally, you first thing you have to be connected to the internet. There is no way the computer is able to communicate without the internet. Even if you disconnect it from the internet, there is no way they can use it to attack someone else. But what I was saying is, we normally used to say that once you power off your device, maybe you remove your battery, that's it. Nobody can get to you. But as it turns out, the incident this weekend, ever, there is a way they can still get to you. But we'll talk about that. So the consequences are massive. So yeah. So I will be using a study case about my paper. I'll be talking about the paper I published in spring. I presented it in San Antonio. There was an IEEE conference there. So so that's the paper. It's I titled it Android Trojan Horse Spyware Attack, a practical implementation. So if you want to see the paper, you can go to that link or you can scan that QR code. So how does it compromise software application look like? Okay, so the thing is, there are many ways to attack software, but one that has been emergent, that one is emergent, that has come up of late, is the attacking the supply chain. For example, the attack on SolarWinds. The attack on SolarWinds was one of those that we call supply chain. Supply chain attack is where instead of someone attacking you, they attack the software or the device at the point where it is manufactured or at the point where it is developed. So by the time it gets to you, they are already inside it. Okay.
You're telling me that you did a cyber attack to learn how to stop them. So you're a criminal.
Okay, to stop them is criminal?
No, no, but you did this. You did an attack.
Yes. So what I did is I demonstrated how it can be done.
Yeah, you're a great hat.
That's why there was a dot in Russia on your map of the world.
Is that okay? Okay, that's not the reason. I mean, the point is they are a big player in the cyberspace, so it's we should give credit where due. So, so there's that kind of attack. So that's the one that I'm going to focus on. There's many kinds of attack, but I'm going to focus on that because it's the one that I talked about in this paper. So I'm going to use the framework we call MITRE ATT&CK framework that explains the tactics that adversaries use when they conduct their attacks. So the initial stage of attacking a target is that you try to get into the device or into the network. Now, the way you do that, if you're doing a supply chain attack, is that you could take an application, completely benign application, let's say like WhatsApp application. You can reverse engineer it. You get back the source code. The source code is the code that you write, then compile into a package, then you ship. The package is what you install in your phone. So the source code is the code that developer writes. So you can do a reverse engineering and recover that. Well, it's not that simple, especially now that so much of research has gone into obfuscating the code. So now it's very hard. But you have to remember that WhatsApp, like many applications, they are open source. So what it means by open source is that this code is accessible from the internet. You can go to GitHub and actually make the code. So many applications are like that. Not all of them, but some of them are like that. So if you know an application that is open source, the code of it is accessible and for free for everyone. You could write a code that does whatever you want and go and pick that code, for example, WhatsApp, and inject your code inside it, package it, and ship it. So the people who receive this WhatsApp, it won't look any different from WhatsApp. It will be the same WhatsApp you use. Only that this WhatsApp
If you download WhatsApp, it may be from a criminal website with a slightly modified code.
yes. For
So how
example,
do you check that the WhatsApp is really the WhatsApp?
okay, we trust it because we get it from Google. If your iOS iPhone,
Yeah, it's verified. They did the
You
app
get
store,
it
they
from-
have the same thing.
but anything else you download outside the store, you take your own risk. For example, I have several accounts.
Like your QR code?
That is not WhatsApp, it's my
No, but that might be a QR code where they're trying to steal your information.
no. You see, when you scan the QR code, it shows you exactly what is on the other side before you even go there. So, because that is
Yeah, you can preview the.
yes, you can preview before you click anything. So
When you
it shows
use your iPhone, it tells you on the camera what you're about to enter.
yes, so it tells you should you go to it or not. So you can read and see, okay, I shouldn't go.
But I do have a question. Sometimes people get their name is hijacked on WhatsApp. So my niece had her name
Mhm.
on WhatsApp and she said, oh, no, do not open my message from WhatsApp. It's not from me. They're just using my identity. How did that happen?
That is simple. So what they do is they replace your WhatsApp. Okay, the way it works is that if you bought a new device today and you want to switch your WhatsApp account from the device that you're using now to another device, what you need to do is to prove to WhatsApp from this new device that you own the other device. Or
Got
something
it.
like
So she'd switched phones maybe. Yeah.
that. No, okay, the people who steal, this is what they do. They use your number to activate a WhatsApp client application on a new phone.
But it doesn't, you can't
Right.
use if I try using my number on someone else's phone or no, it won't let me because it's already registered with the WhatsApp account.
Exactly.
So how do people?
Now, they ask you, are you trying to move your account to this phone? You tell them yes. So they tell you what we're gonna do, we're gonna send account to the other WhatsApp, and then you enter it here to confirm. So, so you say, okay, they send the code, you call the person or you deceive the person, whatever trick you're gonna use to get them to send you the code. They send you the code, you enter here, the account is moved here. Now you have the account.
So is that considered a common cybersecurity issue or not?
Yes, it's common and it's a cybersecurity issue. Yeah, so it's here, it's about the person being cybersecurity aware. If someone tells you, if you receive a call and someone tells you, send me the code, never send them the code because the code is meant for you.
If someone steals your phone, be careful.
Yes. So the thing is, that code is a security feature. If you send that code to someone, you defeat the.
That's why this two-factor authentication has
Yes.
become so important. I mean, my dad's email even got hacked because he works, in a very sensitive nature with governments and with fleets of private clients, and it's a really big security risk. But when they were sending financial data, somehow his email got intercepted. And then that's when he's like, I need to enable two-factor authentication and, have an additional security layer. So the emails for my dad's company, they are all encrypted and all that. So it's just become so important that we have these two-factor and things on our phone. Like my mom has WhatsApp. It's like, I don't have it for mine, but to even get into her WhatsApp on her phone, she has to enter a PIN or look into the camera for her phone. So she has some additional layer.
Face recognition.
Yeah, face recognition.
Yes, that is why WhatsApp recommends that you have 2FA activated. That is two-factor authentication. It requires you to have another code on top of that code, because if someone, for example, the trick that I've seen most of these people use is that they usually call you and tell you, okay, they know a group that you're in, so they tell you that code was like for adding you to a group meeting. So send me that code so that I can add you to the group meeting that we're going to have. Because most people are busy, they don't take time to read what the code was for. So they just read the code to them.
Right.
That
Okay,
you surrender
slide.
your account. Wait, there's something I want to add. We do have time, right? Yes. So, for example, the reason why the university VTD introduced the 2FA is because there was a student actually managed to take over an account of a professor.
Huh?
So,
Oh, that's why they did it. Okay.
yes,
Say that a student managed to do what?
to take over an account of a professor to change their grade.
And send emails claiming to be the professor.
No, yes,
To change
yeah,
the
it's
grade?
changed to the I don't know what they changed.
The grades.
Yeah, when they changed the grade.
What a great idea.
I would.
Yes. So that
But
was
don't they, for that, I have to get
So,
the Galaxy, which is.
the way he did it is that he bought their base keyloggers that you can buy from online.
Did they catch the
eBay.
student?
Yes, from eBay. So he came and plugged it in the USB port in the computer, the one that I used to plug in the slides. So when you come, you plug in, you enter your password to access your account. The keylogger logged the details, login details. So this,
They used to do that back in the
Can
day,
be-
you know, the traditional
When-
hacks, that's how they used to do that.
Yeah.
Change your password every day.
the thing is, to change the grade, I know it, okay, I heard is that you have to send the request to someone somewhere, and then they send you a form to fill and then return it to
Yeah,
them so that they
I've
can
had to do that. Incomplete to a grade.
So when the student, when they send the student the form, okay, the student the thing is, the student didn't fill the form and send back. So maybe it can, but before that, what happened is that when the email came, it happens that the professor was also logged in. So
At the same time.
yes, so he saw an email, then it disappeared. So what the student did is he stayed online. So when the email comes, he can read it and delete it before the other person sees it. So it happened that he was online, so he saw it.
We live in the real world.
That's when he moved to the IT and asked, what is
Okay,
my
if you
account?"
want to
Because
change your grades, talk to Collins.
no, now there is a two-factor authentication can't work. Because the professor will have the
So yeah,
Yeah,
you get like the
you
text or the call now.
call or the message sent to their phone, so they know someone is trying.
And every 30 days you have to do it again. Like on our devices, I always press remember me, but every 30 days I have to do it again.
Yes.
Okay,
So, how can we detect that someone is actually trying to get into our device through this? So, the thing you can do is make sure that you don't download applications from sources that you don't trust. Because if you download an application from the internet just anywhere, you don't know what that person has done with that application before they offer it to you. So they could have taken a normal WhatsApp, injected some codes that does whatever they want, and then they offered it to you. So one way is just make sure you don't download applications from third-party sources. Okay, so the next step after you manage to get into a device of a target is to run the malicious code in that device. So the way I demonstrated it in this case is that there's something we call scheduled tasks or jobs, where you notice in your phone, after some time, your phone tells you that you need to update your application there's a new update, you need to log in, you need to go to the store and update it. So the question is, how does your phone or your computer know that there's a new release of an update of the software that you're using? The way it knows is that there's code inside that software that runs continuously, even when you're not using the application. What the code does is it goes back and forth to the server, whichever server they've inserted in the code, to check for information, to read whatever information is there. So when they have the updated software, they place it in a place where they've already written code to check. When the code checks from time to time, that is it's a routine process. It checks, it sees, oh, there's something. That's when it alerts you, send your notification to alert you that there's a new software. You can go and update. Now, the thing with cybersecurity and adversary is once you know how things work, you can manipulate them. For example, now, in this case, if there's a process that can run in the background, because you don't see it running, it doesn't show you that it's running. So that means I can hook something there that does what I want, and you will never know. It can go check something else. Instead of checking the update, it can go check something else. Or it can go pick something. For example, in this case, what I did is I wrote a script. So every now and then, the code will run and it will execute that script stored in something we call a command and control server. So every time the code will run that script in the server. What the script did is it will go to a database and check for a target. The target is usually an IP. An IP address is like a name of a computer network. There is an IP for your phone, for anything that is connected to the internet, whether a camera, a printer, whatever, anything that is connected as an IP. That is how you're able to send information at the same time and you get the answer to the question that you asked and not somebody else, because your device can be identified uniquely. Now, what this code was doing is that once it read the database and there's a target, it would attack that target. Now, so the script will read the database, get the IP address, return to the application. When the application gets the target, it knows this is my target. So what the application will do from your phone, of course, without showing you anything, is it will send targets, pings we call ICMP. ICMP is Internet Control Message Protocol. Is a protocol in internet where you send some packets to a server to check whether the server is alive and listening. So normally, if your device wants to communicate to a server, before it starts sending any data, it will first ping the server, like it's called like a three-way handshake. So what happens is that your device sends a message to the server. The server sends back whatever it has received from your device with an acknowledgement. That is called a SYN, then a SYN and acknowledgement. Now, listen to where the problem comes in. When the server responds, your device, because the code has been, of course, made malicious deliberately, instead of your device acknowledging that it has received the acknowledgement from the server, your device will drop that request and it will send another request. Now, let me explain where the problem comes in. When the server receives a request from your device, it sets some resources to respond to that request. So when it sends you back the acknowledgement, it has dedicated resources to wait for your request. Those resources are not being used. They cannot be accessed by anything. But you, instead of acknowledging so that these resources can go to someone else, or maybe you can start communicating. You drop that packet and you send another. Now, it receives this packet, responds to it, sends more resources, and waits for response. This response will never come. You send another one. So with time, the server will have so many resources set aside to respond to your request. But your requests are fake because you never act on them. So with time, the server will become overwhelmed and to run out of resources to do anything. And therefore, that is how the real users of that server will not be able to access it. And that is called a denial of service attack. Now, in Android, the process that does that background work is called Work Manager. And in iOS, it's called NS Background Activity Scheduler. Now, this is the diagram from Android that shows the way the Work Manager works. So for every task you schedule, it's either can be a one-time or periodic. In this case, we can go with periodic because we want it to happen all the time. Periodic can either be a long-running process or a deferrable process. The problem, the security that Android added some 1 or 2 years ago is that before we used to run the long-running processes without being required to show the user that the foreground means that you have to show a notification to the user that there's something running in the background. So they validate that security, but then we go to deferrable. Deferrable is where the task doesn't have to run at a given time. It can be postponed. Now we go with the deferrable because with the deferrable, you're not required to show the user anything. What that means is that the system will check whether there are resources available for that. For example, if the user is like playing a computer game or a phone game for that matter, the resources will be dedicated to that because it is CPU intensive activity. Therefore, your task will wait until when the user is not fully using all the resources of the device. In that case, you're not required to show them anything. Therefore, we'll go with that. With that, the operating system will never show the user that there's anything happening in the background. Now, going back, execution, advisory, tries to maintain photo. Oh, the next thing now is number 3. Once you're in and you can do whatever you want, the next thing is to persist. Make sure that you can maintain that kind of connection and be able to do whatever you want for a very long time. So one way to do this, you use broadcast receivers because sometimes someone will switch off their device, whether a machine or a computer. You want to make sure that when they switch off and when they switch it on, you're able to pick up from where you left. So there's things we call broadcast receivers, where once an operating system finishes booting up, it sends a broadcast to all the applications that are listening. So you can set a bootloader listener, where after booting up, you listen to that broadcast. Once it broadcasts to you that, oh, I've finished booting up, the work starts again. But the Android already closed that loop last year. So you can do that now, because once you do that, you are required after 5 seconds to alert the user that you've started running background processes. So now we don't do that. We'll go for, of course, we're not going to use foreground persistence because that's going to show the user automatically. We're going to use scheduled task again because that one doesn't require you to show anything. Now, in defense evasion, this is where you make sure that you can't be detected. So, for example, if you're using for example, in this case, you're going to use an application that is trusted. Someone, when they look at the code, they'll see the app that is running. It's WhatsApp, I trust WhatsApp. So they're not going to suspect you. So here is all about masquerading, representing yourself as something else, something that is trustworthy.
Okay, so it might not be you speaking at the moment that the people online are seeing. You just are impersonating yourself with your face.
Yes.
How do the people online know that it's really you?
For example, in online meeting like this one, using deep, that is called
Deepfake. You're masquerading.
Deepfake. I can have your image and then your voice.
Karen Dora, that's not really you.
I can have your image and your voice speaking my words. My words, the words are mine, but the image that they see is yours and the voice is yours.
Is it kind of like those, there's these apps now, well, that's different, but there are these apps now that you can like use celebrities' faces in your voice.
Yes, but those like the amateur work. Now deepfake is actually very real because in a meeting like this, you can hold a meeting, discussion, everything. The same person is talking, but that is not them. Okay, I see someone else.
Yes, Clinton.
Well, if it's a deep fake of me, but that is to say, if you're in a meeting and I'm presenting or I'm sitting there and I look good, you know it's a deep fake.
No, but what I also say when I don't have my camera on a online call, I say, ask me a question that only I know the answer to. Like, when was the last time you peed in your pants?
And how will I know? How will I know the answer that you give me is right?
Or where is your family home in Paris? Something like personal. But yeah.
You think
but
the AI
something
doesn't know that?
not-
He must have
something
put that somewhere in
non-verbal.
the internet.
Where is your family home? in
AI
Paris?
has the
That would be a good
to
question.
first and get the answer. He must have put it somewhere in the internet.
No, but non-verbal, I mean, the humans remember non-verbal things.
Yeah.
And,
So the issue with deepfake is that the way the element is that these deepfakes are usually they look more and good than the actual you. A deepfake of you will look more convincing than actual you. That's not the
Yes.
problem.
It's like, oh, sorry, continue, sorry.
go ahead.
Good.
It's like, when you like watch a movie with like the actor and then you see like the real person at the end and then you're like, oh,
The
because
movie,
the actor looks better. than
yes,
the
the
real person.
movie looks more real than the real person. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's the problem. Because if a deepfake was they use this case, they use AI, it will only do things that you mostly do, not the things that you rarely do.
Yeah,
So that makes it more convincing. Because if
well, I pee in my pants every.
Maybe. Okay, so collection. So the next step is you are in, you can be detected, you can you can do whatever you want. No, the next thing is now to gather the information that is of interest to you. You're in. For example, in this case, I showed that how to collect personal information like SMS messages, contact lists, call logs, and installed apps. So yeah, that step is about scanning the device, finding the information that you're interested in, and gathering it. Okay, the next one is to actually communicate back to the server. So what the adversary uses is a command and control server. So once the malicious application or device has done all those steps, it needs to communicate back to the server to let the server know, which is the adversary now, know that it is ready to receive commands. So normally,
Okay, so what advice would you give the people in this room to reduce the probability?
of that happening. Okay, the recommendation I gave at the beginning, the easiest way to catch the supply chain attacks are different. The supply chain attack, the easiest way to catch it is to install only the things that you trust. Use the devices that you trust.
No, but I trust my cell phone,
Yes,
but
do you trust the supply chain? Do you trust what the
Download only apps from the Android App Store. Don't download any external apps that I'm sure you probably don't download external apps. But also have two-factor authentication, all these.
no, but I
extra
think,
layers.
Collins is doing an internship at the lab to train people in the lab not to get trapped by these things.
Yeah.
And so I think we need sort of a checklist for everybody in the room of what you need to know to avoid being unnecessarily infiltrated and have your cell phone explode.
Yes.
So those, I think, were they targeted? Those were targeted attacks that happened. But it's,
So this is something we need to teach our children.
yeah.
Does anybody else, and Rue, you have children?
And I mean, when I was
This?
younger,
They know this better than me.
They,
But the problem is it's constantly changing, right? I think that's a big problem, like the pager incident in Lebanon, you know, the fact that that was not a known
Yes,
possibility.
it's a supply chain. The thing is, you don't expect that for example, if your phone comes from Google.
Android.
Okay, let's say
now
my
he wants to
phone,
know so he can infiltrate it.
my phone comes from Samsung,
I got a cover
Yeah,
on it, so
mine
you
is
don't know.
Samsung.
okay?
Yeah, which.
Now, I say, I'm gonna buy a Samsung phone because I trust Samsung,
Uh-uh.
but what you don't know is that Samsung may have,
Been
sourced
infiltrated.
the devices, the device, the like battery that
Yeah.
they're using the phone, they might have outsourced it from another company
Oh.
that you don't know.
Yeah, so the battery may have the
You don't
explosive
trust.
in it.
Or
That is why to work with the US government for any contract, you have to make it clear your supply chain. Everything where it came from.
Mhm.
And they insist
Where the
on
metal was
it
mined.
needs to be manufactured here in the United States, where they can visit the lab anytime without notice and investigate to make sure that they can trust where everything came from. Because, for example,
do you feel that the United States cybersecurity efforts are fairly strong, or are we victims potentially of Russia and China
oh, you are victims, but
all the time?
it's strong.
It's strong in the United States?
It's strong.
You know, I have to tell you, interesting on this subject, I was approached by the FBI 2 weeks ago because they said that I was discovered on a list as being targeted by Russian hackers through WhatsApp. And the reason it's very interesting to me is because I have not opened any of the WhatsApp, because I'm pretty careful. But WhatsApp has been attacking through WhatsApp. I've been constantly being attacked for, it's a, anyway, it's the payment,
Bitcoin,
PayPal.
something like that, like an
something
online.
like that. Yeah.
I've gotten some like really
Cryptocurrency.
random messages as
It's
well.
Yeah, crypto.
And on Instagram, and then someone actually that was doing that actually hacked my Instagram. It was a few years ago,
Ah,
but you usually won't ever get back your Instagram account, so good luck. But I knew someone in Meta, and I was like, I need you guys to help me, and then they helped. They did an internal request. I got my account back. But it shows like you're very good about the messages, so just be careful. I'm like, if I get a suspicious message from a number I don't have, I don't pick it up. My phone also recognizes some spam callers, but on WhatsApp, I like completely ignore those.
I thought it was interesting that it came through WhatsApp, and multiple times cryptocurrency offers, join this club, we're talking about this, come join us. It was fascinating, given the fact that you're telling us about some of this stuff.
Yes, so the supply chain I'm talking about here, if you get to the phone, that's the hardware of build software. The problem is Samsung could be outsourcing the batteries for the phones from a third party supplier.
Uh-huh.
Who may have, for example, designed the battery in such a way that once it's installed in your phone, it can communicate back to them. In that case, they will know your phone and you. In that case, for example, in the page and walkie-talkies, that means that person
I
can.
think we're all gonna be
Example-
paranoid schizophrenic.
Yes, I'm gonna scare you. So the thing is, that person could send a code to your phone.
Okay, let's keep going. We have another speaker today.
Yes. Okay, where are we?
My presentation's really short, so.
No, no,
just go
no,
on
no.
all day.
So, you didn't move to the next slide. Okay, so the next step is to exfiltrate that data. So bring all the data back to the control and commands where you can analyze all the data. You can take whatever you want. You can sell it. You can trade it, whatever. So in this case, because this is a scary task, I can always come back from time to time and check any new data. You receive new messages and stuff. The next slide. So implication of cybersecurity attacks on privacy. Yeah, personal information. These people can
Have you ever been hacked?
me. Yes, ransomware. Yes.
Mm.
Yes.
You're an expert and you still got hacked? Why should
Okay,
I
it doesn't
believe you?
mean, no, it doesn't mean an expert does it. Okay, let me explain that once. Let me explain that once. Let me explain. So the thing is, sometimes I want a software, but I don't have money to buy it. I don't have money to buy the license. That's why I get, so I see an Adobe, Adobe, yeah, these guys are expensive, but then they are good. And then I decided, oh, let me download this Photoshop. Now, you download Photoshop, then they sell you these, what they call these things, activators. Now, the thing you just install that, I'm actually, the Windows 11 is very secure. Now you can't run anything. So you just put it there, it goes red everywhere, it reads everything. So now before that, Windows 7 and Windows 8, they were not that. So you could just silence the Windows white firewall. Once you try to open it, the Windows firewall tells you, this is malware. But because you need to run it so that you can deactivate the license stuff, you decide, okay, I'm gonna take it. So what happens is some of those are actually malware. So with you run it, you get your Adobe, then the next day you wake up, ransomware. You gotta pay $300 to get back. Everything is encrypted. So they got me like when I was in undergrad, they got me twice of the three.
Okay, next slide.
So, so I want to explain a little bit how this kind of attack can get to you. So, okay, you can do that, but how does it get to me exactly? Go to the next slide. I want to demonstrate. So, for example, most online accounts that we have, when they have a feature to recover your password. That feature, one of the ways they provide for you to be able to recover your password is by sending you a text message to your phone, your registered number. And then once you enter the code, you can prove that it is you. Now, in this case, assuming that someone is already in your phone, they just go to your email account like that. They say, I forgot my password. Then they tell you, okay, how do you want to recover it? Go to the next slide. You choose, in that case, they offer you that. They tell you tap here on your phone or tablet. You don't have the phone, you just in the phone. The phone is still with the owner, so you don't want to go for that option. There's a verification code sent to your phone number. Now you want to go for that. Because for that one, they're going to send you a text message, that is an SMS message with a code. But then you're already inside the phone. So that's the option you want to go with. Because once you click that option, they send the code, it comes to the phone. The owner of the phone doesn't have to do anything. They don't have to do anything. You just get the code from the phone to the control and command to the email, the Gmail, and then you have the account.
Yeah,
Correct.
so like for example, so we had this shared Google account for something, and someone from the org I volunteered for needed access to it. So when they logged in, I got a security alert to my recovery email for that. And just for security, Google thought someone was trying to take over, but it was a rightful thing. I gave them the login, but and it automatically picked them out of the account and gave it back to me, and then I authorized it, and then but there's some additional layers a lot of these companies have implemented. And with Windows 11, it's more secure now. Like it's harder to download third-party software and run it.
Is it even harder to break into MacBooks and Apple products?
No, it's not.
It's not? Is it harder
Yes.
but it's harder than
So let me
PC?
explain why some people think that this technology is more secure than that technology. That has never been proven. The way it works is there's what we call the economy of scale.
Mhm.
If you attack, for example, now Android owns 70% of the mobile operating system market. So if you build a malware for Android,
Yeah,
you have access to 70% of the market.
of course. Yeah.
Why would you build a malware for iPhone and just get what 18% of the market. Why would you do that? Economize on the scale. So that's why you find most of the attacks are targeting Android and not iPhone. And then people who use iPhone think to me, oh, we are secure. You're not secure. If I just showed you the mechanism that I used here, it is in iPhone as well.
Yes.
So I could have done it for iPhone as
Right.
well. So iPhone is not secure because the protocols are at the foundation there, the protocols are the same. The way they communicate, the way they operate, the same way. No difference. Okay, for Facebook, this is it. You tell them you don't remember the password, they give you those options. You can send you an email, they can send you an SMS, or you can do another option. If I go there, I know they can try some a fingerprint or stuff, but I don't want to go there because I don't have the phone. So usually choose the SMS because you find the phone, they send you the SMS, you got the code, use it. The other thing you're saying about someone, if someone accesses your account from a different geolocation, yeah, Google can send you an email to ask you, did you authorize it? Something like that. Yes, but now assume that person accessed it within the area that you are in. Google is not gonna lie to you about it. Because they sent you a code that is a security feature, and you actually end up.
Sometimes I still do get it, like when I log in from like a different city that I'm usually in, sometimes it does.
Yeah, but remember this, someone who tried to reset the password. No, it's you're accessing from a new device, right?
Okay, we need to keep moving here.
And then you access it from a new device. They send you a security feature
I
code,
know it's not.
and you entered it. So the best practices in cybersecurity is to, as I say, to download software from trusted sources, which is not the official store for your application. Don't use it. The other thing is be careful what you click. Don't go to some website, you see, click here, someone sends you a link, click here, you just click. If you don't know them, you don't trust them, don't do it. Other thing is be aware of phishing scams. Someone tells you something good, go to this place, you're gonna win this or that. Don't do it. The other thing is keep your device patched. That is when your device alerts you that there's an update to your software, your operating system, any application update is, most of those patches are usually security patches because they've discovered a vulnerability in the software and then they develop a patch to make sure that you're not vulnerable. So if you don't patch it on time, someone out there could develop a way to attack you and go checking who has in fact the device and therefore be able to get to you. Okay, my sources were those. I was the source, and then I used to make attack for them.
Okay, does the online audience want to contradict the speaker, please?
Or comment, or just applaud.
Definitely applaud.
Safest way to keep your laptop clean, what type of software? Kaspersky, which ones are the best recommended for cybersecurity?
I will tell you
Okay,
what.
he's a marketing agent, Kevin. He gets a commission.
Oh, he does?
No, I'll tell you what the university CISA told me, and it's true. Actually, I thought about it. It's true. The best way to defend yourself is to make sure that all your system is patched. If it's possible, set your system to automatic update. So when there's a new update, which updates itself immediately right away. Because normally the way the antivirus work is that when they discover a new vulnerability, a new virus, they study it, they see how it's attacking a system, then they develop a feature in their antivirus that protects against that virus.
I see. So the antivirus is built in if you keep your software updated. If you keep your,
Not quite. The thing is, the antivirus protects you from the already known and investigated vulnerability.
What it sees on your laptop, like what's already there.
What has already been, a vulnerability that has already, a virus that has already attacked other people, and they reported it, and then they research, and then they build something for it.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you look at who is faster? Is it whatever company for antivirus you're using, or is it your operating system like Microsoft? Microsoft actually get these alerts first, as in they are the first one to know that their systems, their client has been hacked. So they are the one at the better positioned to build a patch for that virus or that vulnerability faster than your antivirus company. So if you keep your system up to date, patch it when a patch comes up, patch it immediately. You'll be more secure than if you have an
Okay,
antivirus.
we need to move on to the next speaker, please.
Because CrowdStrike is an interesting story, sorry.
Yes, that was a very interesting story. What happened with Delta?
But-
I was just gonna say, that was not good.
But
for my-
CrowdStrike was not a cybersecurity incident. Do we know that?
I need to use the bathroom really quickly.
Yes,
Yeah.
they updated, they pushed a patch that they hadn't tested. So they were not hacked. It was their developers that made a mistake.
Got it.
They didn't do it.
Thank you. That's very-
Okay, did any of the experts online learn anything new? JD, did you learn anything new?
So, I mean, definitely that was a great presentation, right? It's about the personal devices that we have. So when you take that now to the business world, it is just the problem, just the impact. It's billions and trillions of dollars that get sucked out of the economy. And the impact is huge, right? The other thing, I had a conversation actually with the Department of Homeland Security. One of the biggest issues is that the malware, the code, gets implemented on your computer or on business computers, and the trigger can happen months or years later on those systems. So it's very difficult then to do the root cause analysis, and yeah, so huge problem, and that's why the protection and cyber, not just cyber protection and cyber security, but cyber recovery is a huge topic that enterprise and government customers want to talk about. How do they recover after an attack? Yeah,
Thank
great
you.
presentation.